My name is Max and I've been building gaming computers since 2012. I've built over 30 PCs for friends and family over the years, and I want to share some of the things I've learned along the way. If you're interested in a no-frills guide for building your first gaming computer in 2025, this video is for you. If you find anything useful in this video, please drop a like and subscribe, as this really helps me out. Also, if you want to purchase a custom PC from me, I've just launched my website, MaxedoutPCs.com. Please check it out or send me an email at MaxedoutPCs@gmail.com. Now let's get started with the build guide. Step 1. Part selection. This step is the hardest part of building your first gaming PC, as it requires some careful consideration. What's your goal with this PC? Is it only for gaming? What games are you playing on it? How many FPS are you looking to get? What's your budget? I would recommend you decide on your budget first. Gaming PCs are expensive, and if you aren't willing to spend enough, you're probably better off buying a console for $700. My rule of thumb is spend enough to get a better gaming experience than a console. This will justify the cost of the PC. Why are gaming PCs so expensive? On the PS5 Pro and Call of Duty Black Ops 6, you can get a consistent 120 FPS at 1080p resolution, assuming you have your console configured properly and a compatible monitor or TV. This is the experience for $700. PC gaming will greatly exceed this FPS limit if you have the money to spend. My PC has an Intel i9-14900K CPU and an RTX 4090 GPU. At 1080p, I get an average of 205 FPS. I know this isn't a one-to-one comparison due to settings differences between console and PC, but it highlights my point nonetheless. Once you try out gaming with frame rates this smooth, it's hard to go back to console. Use PCPartpicker. PCPartpicker is a free tool that makes it really easy to choose your parts and order them at the lowest prices. PCPartpicker is great because it makes choosing compatible hardware foolproof. For example, after selecting your CPU, you go to choose a motherboard and the list will only show you compatible boards. You don't have to worry about making sure the CPU will fit in the motherboard socket, as PCPartpicker does this for you. Any compatibility issues are flagged and appear at the top. When you click on a part, you can see the different retailers where the part is available and choose the one with the best price or best availability. Be sure to make an account so you can save your builds. GPU. Select your GPU first and then build the rest of the PC around it. The GPU is directly responsible for the performance you're getting in games, so it's the most important component. My tip for this is to look at benchmarks. See what FPS people are getting in the games you want to play. A good resource for this is Hardware Unboxed on YouTube. They include benchmarks for many games in their GPU reviews, as well as comparison data for other cards. Look through their reviews and see if the FPS looks good to you. CPU. How do you choose the CPU that pairs with your GPU? Think about it like this. You want the CPU to be fast enough that the GPU doesn't need to wait for the CPU to catch up. This is called a CPU bottleneck. A more expensive CPU may not give you more FPS directly, but it will help ensure you don't run into bottlenecks, especially down the line with the release of new games. If you're watching this in 2025, a Ryzen 9000 series is your best bet, as these have the best price to performance ratio. Motherboard. How do you choose the right motherboard? Motherboards can be confusing as there are a lot of different options, including the amount and speed of USB ports, amount and speed of M.2 slots, amount of SATA ports, Wi-Fi versus wired only, form factor of the motherboard, the list goes on. I recommend looking at the chipset differences so you can get an understanding of the specification differences. AMD has a handy graphic that shows what you get for each chipset. Use this to help guide your selection. RAM. Selecting RAM is easy. Just get 32 GB of DDR5. This will give you enough headroom for modern games. Storage. For storage, I usually recommend an M.2 NVMe SSD drive as the boot device, but a cheaper SATA SSD is also not a bad option. If you have multiple drives, you want Windows to be installed on the fastest one to make your system as snappy as possible. You can always add more drives in the future, so don't worry too much for now about the capacity. Case. For the case, this is really up to you. Do you care about aesthetics, or you just want raw performance and you don't care how it looks? There's also ease of building. Some cases are easier to build in than others. Watching some reviews is a good idea. Also, in terms of cooling, bigger cases are generally better, allowing for larger coolers and more airflow. Power supply. Choosing a power supply is made easy with PCPartpicker. Once you've selected all the parts, look at the estimated wattage. add 20%, and round up to the nearest power supply model. In this example, my estimated wattage is 538 watts, so 538 times 1.2 equals 645 watts. A 650 watt power supply should be sufficient to power this build, but I went with an 850 watt model to give me more headroom for a future GPU upgrade down the line. Now that you've selected and ordered all your parts, it's time to get to building. In the next video, I'll walk you through building a computer. It's easy, so don't be scared to give it a try. I'll provide some links below to the resources I showed in this video. Please leave a like on it if you learned something. Thanks for watching.